Hello, welcome back. In this section now we are ready to install our WordPress. But before we do that, I want to explain two sections for you, which is if you go to Google and search for the word WordPress so you can download the WordPress file, basically this will show you few different things. The first thing is WordPress.com. This fast host obviously which will indicate that it's not a WordPress, but then you will have WordPress.org. The difference is WordPress.com, this is a service provided by WordPress themselves, so which means that you have to pay them for these services that they're giving you. So they will give you a full site and you will have your hosting included with it, and obviously they might give you some templates that you got to use, but it's not your own site. You're leasing the site from them and you have to pay for their services that they're giving you. However, on WordPress.org, this is what we're interested in. This is an open source platform where you are fully allowed to do almost anything that you want to do. So we will have to download this file. So we will click on download. Obviously, when you come to the site, this is the first thing you're going to see. So you have to click on Get WordPress, and then it will bring you to this site. You have to click on then download. This will then download for you. You have to click save. And when this is downloaded, you have to then go to your download file and get the file. Now, we have to remember what we did last time. We said what we did last time, meaning where our local host XAMPP is located. Remember, we installed it on the C drive, and in the C drive, we have a name called XAMPP. So we need to open XAMPP. And in the last lecture, I told you that the most important file for you here is the htdocs. So open htdocs, and then this is the folder we want, Squadron. If you don't have Squadron, don't worry about it. I'll delete it, so I'll do it all over again. So what I'll do here is I'll just paste what I have taken, the download file. So now that I've pasted the downloaded file, which is the WordPress folder, I will right click and unzip. If you don't have an unzip software which unzips a zip file for you, you can go to a website called WinRAR and you can download their software. This will help you to unzip all your zip files. Now we're gonna come back to the folder in here and we're gonna unzip the file. So I'll select extract. Okay. Now that it's done, I will then delete this because we don't need it anymore. And then this is the WordPress file. Now let's rewrite this name to the name that we're gonna call our website. So we're gonna call it Squadron. Now, if we click on this, we will find everything. Now, to explain to you a little bit of WordPress core files, which you wouldn't really need to know, but just for your own benefit, WordPress need a very important folder that will connect the database and the WordPress itself so that they can work together. Because the database of the WordPress actually saves all the content, all of it. So without the database, it wouldn't know anything. It saves even the HTML of the pages. So you definitely need to make sure your database is always on point. To connect your database to the WordPress itself, you first have to create your database. To create your database on your local server on XAMPP, you can either click on this to open the PHP MyAdmin for you, which looks like this, or you can actually have this page, which was the dashboard first, and click on PHP MyAdmin from there. This is how PHP MyAdmin looks like. If you've never seen a database system before, this is the very, very simple and basic. All you got to do is literally create new and just type the database name. So the database name we want is Squadron. We're going to call it Squadron, so it's all the same. And we're going to leave this to general. And then we'll say create for me. All of a sudden, it has already created the database for me. However, it's saying that there's no tables. We don't need to worry about this because WordPress will populate these tables for us. We just need to create a database and create usernames and passwords for it so that WordPress knows the database name, the username, and password. We have now created a database. We now need to create the usernames and passwords. On your local host, already there are some login details already there, the root details. I will always advise not to touch them. Just literally create your own. I'll create a new user, and in here I will create a username. I always like to call things the same, so I'll call it Squadron. I'll call it Squadron as a username, and I'll leave the host the same. So normally if you see a host with a percentage, that means that the actual name will be localhost, just localhost the way it is. I'll create a password, so you can generate your own password just to make sure they're all the same. I think I'll repeat this again just to make sure. Okay, so we have done that. We now come here and we say tick all of it this. So which means that you're granting access as an administrator as well. This is what I will do. And then I'll say go. So it's created it. You got your new username and it's connected to Squadron. Now, there's one more thing for us to do before we run our application. We come back here to the folder. In the folder, we want to now connect that database that we just created and this WordPress file. WordPress relies heavily on one single file which connects them to, and the file name is wp-config. wp-config has the database connection strings that point to your database. Now, if you don't have this, you have to create a new file name, a new text file, and call it wp-config-php. However, if you download a fresh new WordPress from scratch, it will always give you a WordPress sample config. So what you just need to do is click on rename and just rename that. Okay, that's all you got to do here. Now, when you do this, you now need to open this file so that you can now input the credentials that you've already put in your database. If I right click this now this is giving me the database string. This is a sample data. So I'll tell it what the database name is, which is, we say it's Squadron. Squadron. The username is Squadron, and the password is whatever password you have set it to. I have used this random password, so I don't know what password you use, so whatever password you have used, please use that. Just to make sure that I have not made any spelling mistakes, I'll just come back here and just check that this is exactly the same. So it is the same. Okay, now I will say file and then save it, or control S. Now that's done. Now we need to run our application. All we need to do is still remember the localhost 8080, open a new tab, and then write our folder name. Our folder name again, we called it Squadron. Okay, so we will open and then we will have the Squadron here. And when you do this, this will obviously load a little bit, and then it will open the WordPress welcome page for the first time. So it opens it, it says thank you very much. Okay, so it welcomes you to the WordPress. Now we need to give it a name. So we will say the site name will be Squadron, and we will give it a username. I'll call it Squadron again, just so that we're all in the same level. Squadron. And then the password, I will use what I used before. However, you are not obliged to use this. The email address, I will use my personal email address where I am happy for any one of you to have issues to contact me towards. And then I will say install. As soon as I click this button is going to generate all the WordPress fields that we don't have here. Okay, so let's study this. Remember, this is empty. Now I'm going to say install. Okay, so let's give it a bit. Okay, so now that is done. Now let's just refresh this page. See? So it has populated all the normal generic WordPress files for us. So we don't need to ever worry about the population of the WordPress because it deals it for us. So we don't need this now for now. So we'll close this and come back here. So in here, remember we need to log in and just make sure that everything is working fine. So we'll just put our username and then we'll put our password that we have set. I'll save this so that I don't have to put it on all the time. So as you can see, everything seems to be working and we're happy that WordPress is live. If you still have any issue, please let me know and then I'm happy to help you out. On the next lecture, I will then introduce you on a theme that I've already built and I will share this theme with you so that we can work on this theme to develop the site. I'll see you in the next lecture.